Now the first part of this section is solving inequalities, and that's the main thing we're going to be doing here. And like I said on the last video, in class we broke this down into 3 or 4 different varieties. We did adding and subtracting, we did multiplying and dividing, but really when it boils down to it, you just jump right into solving inequality. So here I've given 2 of a little bit more complicated ones. If you can do these 2, then you can definitely do anything on the quiz or the test. So let's take a look at this. Now, when you solve an inequality, you solve it exactly like you would a regular equation. All the rules are the same. You try to get the variable by itself. You move everything away by doing the opposite. If you have variables on both sides, you get them together. If you need to distribute first, you distribute before and combine like terms before you start moving things. All those rules are still true. The only difference is you now have an inequality symbol. And the biggest rule that adds is if you ever divide or multiply by a negative, you flip the symbol around. Now, let's look at number 5 right here. We have 9x minus 11 is greater than 6x minus 9. All right, so let's rewrite that. 9x minus 11 is greater than 6x minus 9. So we have variables on both sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 6x over by subtracting. So 9 minus 6 would leave us with 3x minus 11 is greater than negative 9. Then I need to get the x by itself. I need to move the 3 and the negative 11. And the negative 11 will go first because, well, there's 2 ways to think about it. You do the opposite of the order of operations, so you would move the subtraction before the multiplication, or the way I just like to teach it, you move the one that's furthest away. So we're going to move the 11 first. The 11 is subtracting, so we're going to add the 11 over. So we're going to get 3x is greater than, and then negative 9 plus 11 would give us 2. And then we divide by 3, and we get x is greater than 2/3. So there's your final answer. Now, the one thing that this adds is after you get your answer, you got to go to your number line and put a dot or a circle for your answer, and then shade either left or right to show the answers. So let's first put our dot or circle. So the answer is 2/3, so we're going to go up to our number line. Now 2/3 comes out to be about 0.6, so we're going to put that somewhere between 0 and 1, a little bit closer to 1. So I'm going to go right about here. Now, when you have an inequality symbol that doesn't have an equal to line underneath it, you use an open circle or just a circle. And then you need to shade in the direction of the answer, so either left or right. Now, you were taught in junior high to follow the direction of the arrow, and there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever way that arrow is pointing, you shade in that direction, as long as the variable is on the left side. If the variable is not on the left side, you cannot do that. You'll actually be doing it backwards. Another way you can do it is just pick a direction. It's a 50-50 shot. So just pick a direction and then see if it's true. So like if I pick the left side and I look at negative 2 over here, well, is negative 2 greater than 2/3? Well, no, it's not. So we must have to shade to the right. So you can always check yourself very easily and simply by just looking at the numbers you shade over and see if they're true. So is 3 greater than 2/3? Well, yeah, it is. So that's an easy way to check yourself. All right, let's look at 10. Now 10's got a lot going on. We have 1 plus 5, parentheses x minus 2 is less than or equal to 2 minus parentheses x plus 5. So on both sides, we need to distribute the 5 in over here and the negative in over here before we can do any of the work. So let's do that first. So 1 plus, then 5 times x would be 5x, and then 5 times negative 8 would give us negative 40. So 5x minus 40. All right, on the other side, we do 2, and then we distribute the negative. So the negative goes to the x and the 5. So it would be negative x minus 5. All right, now let's combine some like terms. So on the left side, we can combine the 1 and the negative 40. So 1 minus 40, that would give us 5x minus 39. And then on the right side, we can put together the 2 and negative 5. So 2 minus 5, we'd be left with negative 3. So on the right side, I would be left with negative x minus 3. So now that I've combined all my like terms, I start moving things to solve the equation. So first, I'm going to move my x's. So I'm going to add this x over to the left side. 5x plus x will leave us with 6x minus 39 is less than or equal to negative 3. Then I add the 39 over. So I get 6x is less than or equal to, and then negative 3 plus 39 would give us 36. And then finally, you would divide by 6, and 36 divided by 6 would give us 6. So x is less than or equal to 6. So we go back up to our number line. We put a solid dot on 6 because when it has an equal to line underneath it, it's a solid dot. And then because our variable's on the left, we can shade in the direction of the arrow. So we're going to shade left. Now again, you can check yourself very easily by just picking a number you shaded on, so like 6, like 3 right here, and ask yourself, is 3 less than or equal to 6? Which it is. So that's how you solve inequalities. Now the only thing we didn't see here is flipping your inequality symbol. If you ever divide or multiply by a negative, you flip your little inequality symbol around. All right, next let's look at some word problems.